Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. The McCarthy Chronicles, another Cowboys win, shows why continuity is a must. The Dallas Cowboys did it again, winning another game to make it 3 victories in 4 games. This win was arguably their best of the year, too, though winning in Pittsburgh, something no other team has done all year, is probably still up there. Many will discount this most recent win, but they shouldn't. The Panthers may be 3-11 now, but they've been playing good football as of late. Coming into this game with the Cowboys, they had lost to both the Chiefs and Buccaneers by just a field goal. Kansas City kicked a game winner as time expired, while Tampa Bay needed overtime and fell to the Eagles by just 6 points. The Panthers have been one of the harder teams to beat, but the Cowboys just demolished them. The 30-14 score wasn't even reflective of how wide the gap was between these two teams. The way in which Dallas won this game offered the clearest argument yet for why Mike McCarthy and this staff should be brought back for 2025. Let's start with McCarthy himself. Not too long ago, the team was on a 5-game losing streak, the longest of McCarthy's tenure in Dallas. Dak Prescott had just been ruled out for the year, and it felt as if the team was about to crater as McCarthy coached his final games for the Cowboys. That never happened, though. A gutsy road win against the Commanders, who just clinched their first winning season in 8 years, snapped the streak. Then, the Cowboys jumped out to an early lead and held on against the Giants for their first home win of the year. They followed that up with a near win over the Bengals, only losing by virtue of a boneheaded play in a high-leverage situation. That loss, though, didn't crush the team's spirit. Nor did the devastating injury to DeMarvion Overshown. They came out and dominated the Panthers from start to finish. The players are still playing hard for McCarthy. The number one job of a head coach is to command buy-in from the players, and McCarthy still has that. As the offensive play caller, he's also managed to fine-tune an offense that's lost its starting quarterback and keeps losing starting offensive linemen. Zach Martin's season, and perhaps his career, is over. Both Tyler Guyton and Tyler Smith have been in and out of the lineup. And Cooper Beebe just missed his first game with a concussion. At one point against the Panthers, the backup right guard who had to start, TJ Bass, also went down. It's been a revolving door in the trenches, but McCarthy's offense has still put up points. He's found ways to feed his 2 playmakers. CeeDee Lamb has had 90-plus receiving yards in each of the last 2 games, and he just became the second player in franchise history to record 4 straight 1,000-plus yard receiving seasons. Only Ja'Marr Chase and Justin Jefferson have more yards than Lamb right now, a feat made all the more incredible given the quarterback situation. Rico Dowdle has also thrived since becoming the unquestioned workhorse running back. The run game was inconsistent, to say the least, early on this year, but McCarthy has figured things out. Dowdle has topped 100 rushing yards in each of his last 3 games and now needs just 120 rushing yards to cross 1,000 for the season. Over the last 4 games, Dallas is also 4th in the league in rushing success rate. The run game has been thoroughly fixed. Cowboys CeeDee Lamb has an NFL record in his sights. The Dallas Cowboys are preparing for a big Sunday night football matchup at home in AT&T Stadium. Coming to town is QB Baker Mayfield and the rest of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, hoping to build off of their big win in Los Angeles last week. Dallas doesn't have any more playoff hopes, but they can use the rest of the regular season to play spoiler, but more importantly, to give some young players time on the field versus other teams' starters. Evaluation for next season has already begun. Nearing the end of the regular season does not only indicate a time for development and evaluation, but also is important to players who may have incentive-laden contracts. It is also a time to watch out for records that could be broken. There are so many records kept, that I am glad I am not in charge of figuring them all out. I will, however, talk about a record that can be broken by the Dallas Cowboys' own CeeDee Lamb. Lamb is one of the most productive wide receivers in the NFL, and losing Dak Prescott twice for the majority of the season in his first 5 years shows that he is quarterback-proof. The electric wide receiver now sets his sights on making NFL history for the most receptions by a player in his first 5 seasons. That record is currently held by former New Orleans Saints Wr. Michael Thomas at 510 receptions. Lamb needs 21 more receptions to tie the record, and 22 to stand alone at the top. Football player wearing a white jersey with number 88, resembling CeeDee Lamb from the Cowboys, stands with his right hand on his chest as if in a heartfelt moment during Week 11. CeeDee Lamb was drafted by the Cowboys as the 17th overall pick of the first round in the 2020 NFL Draft. Lamb was a pipe dream at 17, but somehow managed to fall thanks to the ineptitude of other franchises. Despite losing Dak Prescott for the year midway through the 5th game of the season, CeeDee finished his rookie year with 74 receptions from the arm of Andy Dalton. His second season saw him increase his receptions to 79, playing second fiddle to Amari Cooper and even Dalton Schultz. The third season without Cooper ahead of him separated Lamb from the boys. 107 receptions later, and CeeDee was voted to the Pro Bowl as well as AP Second-Team All-Pro. Just when you thought there was one area of the Cowboys roster that was, more or less, solved, here we go with the reminders that is not the case. Entering the season, the Cowboys' hole at running back was glaringly obvious, with Tony Pollard departing in free agency and the team failing to address the issue in the NFL Draft. They also failed to address it in free agency, where Derrick Henry was said to be all but set to sign if the Cowboys made him a credible offer. No credible offer came, of course, and the Cowboys instead merely re-signed Rico Dowdle and brought back aged veteran Ezekiel Elliott. You know how it played out. Elliott was, and is, washed up. Dowdle, though, has shown he can be a useful back, now at 880 yards over 13 games, with a considerable chance to break the 1,000-yard mark despite being underused early in the year. In Dowdle's last 4 games, he has 478 yards on 84 attempts, and for Dallas, when Dowdle rushes at least 19 times, the team is 4-0. Still, the Cowboys' miserly approach in the spring of 2024 will be costly in 2025, as they gave Dowdle only a 1-year contract. He will be a free agent next spring, and will command much more than the $1.25 million he got this season. Whether the team brings back Dowdle or not, it is clear that the NFL has shifted in recent years to put more of an emphasis on the running game, which means the Cowboys will need to spend a bit more on the position than they have in the past. At Bleacher Report, the team is being advised to go after one of the top free agents on the running back market, Steelers star Najee Harris. The site writes, Dallas entered this weekend averaging just 91.2 rushing yards per game, which is the 5th fewest in the NFL. Lead backs Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott are both impending free agents in the offseason, so the front office will undoubtedly be in the running back market this spring. Harris is an intriguing option since he had over 1,000 rushing yards and 22 rushing touchdowns during the first 3 years of his career. In 2024, he's averaging the second highest yards per game, 67.5, of his career and needs just 123 yards to break the quadruple-digit mark again. Plus, the former first-round pick will only be 27 in March. Cowboys need to make a RB investment. Harris won't come cheap. While the Cowboys might be inclined to simply keep Dowdle and add a low-cost backup in free agency or the draft, there's the possibility that Dowdle will land a bigger offer elsewhere and necessitate the move for a player like Harris. At Spotrac, the market value for Harris is set at $9.3 million, with a 3-year, $27 million contract projected in free agency. That might be undervalued, too, especially after teams like the Ravens with Henry, the Packers with Josh Jacobs, and the Eagles with Saquon Barkley were all rewarded handsomely for investing in running backs in free agency last year. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Najee Harris? Leave your opinion in the comments.